Good day, empowered souls. Today I want us to dive deep into a topic that many of us may hesitate to face, but is critical for our growth, safety, and well-being. The topic is 9 marks of an evil man. Together, we'll uncover these traits, not to instill fear, but to empower you to recognize, resist, and rise above any shadow that seeks to diminish your light. Now, let's begin by understanding this. Evil doesn't always show up in an obvious way. It doesn't knock on your door with a warning label. Instead, it often comes wrapped in charisma, charm, and promises that tug at your deepest desires. Recognizing the signs can save you from hard-touch manipulation, or worse, true character is something that cannot be fully measured by what is seen on the surface. While appearances can be polished, voices can be sweet, and words can be skillfully chosen, they often serve as masks that conceal what lies beneath. A person's true nature reveals itself not in the fleeting impressions they create, but in the consistent actions they take over time. It's easy to present that aligns with what others want to see, to perform kindness when it's convenient, or to appear generous when eyes are watching. But when the pressures of life press down, when the stakes are high, and when there's nothing to gain, the actions taken in those moments speak louder than any outward display. Consider this: someone may profess loyalty with their words, but does their behavior align when you truly need them? A person might claim to be compassionate, yet do their actions consistently reflect empathy, even when no one is watching? True character is not about how someone appears during their best moments, it's about how they show up in their worst. It's about the decisions they make when the easy path is tempting, but the right path is difficult. It is in the small, unremarkable moments of everyday life that true character reveals itself most clearly. How does someone treat a stranger who can do nothing for them in return? How do they behave toward those who are vulnerable or powerless? These are the quiet indicators of integrity and morality, far more revealing than a rehearsed smile or eloquent speech. People often say actions speak louder than words, and this is a truth that echoes deeply. A person may claim to hold values of honesty, kindness, or humility, but words alone cannot hold weight without the foundation of consistent action. True character demands congruence between what is said and what is done. When someone's actions repeatedly contradict their declarations, it becomes evident that their words are empty and their image is aid. It is also important to recognize that appearances can be deceiving. Some individuals master the art of charm, effortlessly winning hearts and gaining trust. But charm is not a substitute for character. Charm can inspire admiration, but it cannot sustain respect if the actions behind it are self-serving or harmful. Character, on the other hand, may not always be glamorous or attention-grabbing, but it is steady, reliable, and genuine. This understanding empowers us to approach relationships with discernment. Rather than being swayed by how someone looks, speaks, or presents themselves, we must observe the patterns of their actions over time. Pay attention to how they handle conflict, how they respond to disappointment, and how they treat those who have no status to offer them. These are the moments when authenticity shines through. True character is revealed in the way someone handles the truth, even when it's inconvenient or uncomfortable. It is demonstrated in their ability to take responsibility for their mistakes and in their willingness to grow from them. It shows up in their consistency in how they treat people, not just in public, but behind closed doors, and in the courage they exhibit when standing up for what is right. True character is about integrity, about being whole and undivided in who you are, regardless of the circumstances. It cannot be faked, bought, or borrowed. It is earned through the choices we make, the lives we touch, and the values we uphold when no one else is watching. And it is through these actions, more than anything else, that a person's true self is revealed. Evil, in its most deceptive form, rarely announces itself with hostility or malice. Instead, it often wears the mask of charm and charisma, drawing people in with an allure that feels magnetic and irresistible. This is how it gains access to hearts, minds, and even entire communities. At first glance, it may seem kind, captivating, and full of promise. There is an undeniable power in someone who can effortlessly command attention, inspire admiration, and make you feel seen and valued. But charm, though intoxicating, is not the same as goodness. It is often a performance, carefully crafted to disarm, manipulate, and ultimately control. Charisma is a tool, and like any tool, it can be wielded for good or ill. When used by someone with malicious intent, it becomes a weapon of subtle destruction. This is because we as humans are naturally drawn to what feels good: words that soothe, smiles that reassure, and gestures that appear selfless. In the hands of an evil person, these qualities are not signs of genuine connection, but strategies designed to lower your guard. The more you trust, the easier it becomes for their true intentions to remain hidden. Think about the way charm works. It flatters, it entertains, and it makes you feel special. It's easy to believe that someone who speaks with eloquence, who carries themselves with confidence, and who seems to exude positivity must have good intentions. But charm without substance is hollow, and when paired with malevolence, it is nothing short of dangerous. Evil thrives on this misunderstanding. It cloaks itself in charisma to avoid detection, to gain influence, and to create a sense of dependency in others. The danger lies in how effortless it is to overlook red flags when charm is at play. Subtle manipulations can be dismissed as misunderstandings, and acts of cruelty can be rationalized as out-of-character moments. This is the power of charisma. It clouds judgment and creates a veneer of trustworthiness. Those who wield it maliciously understand this and exploit it. They use charm to create a narrative in which they are the hero, the victim, or the benevolent savior, depending on what serves their purpose. Charisma, when unaccompanied by integrity, becomes a means of control. It draws you in so deeply that you may find yourself questioning your instincts. You might feel compelled to excuse behaviors that hurt you because the person delivering them does so with a smile or a kind word. They may even seem too good to be true, but instead of investigating further, you convince yourself that you must be the one overthinking. This is why discernment is so crucial. Recognizing when charm is being used as it requires a willingness to look beyond the surface. Pay attention to patterns rather than moments. Does this person's behavior match their words consistently? Do they build others up, or do they use their influence to tear others down subtly while still appearing blameless? Do their actions, especially in unguarded moments, reflect the kindness they project in public? Evil cloaked in charm and charisma often isolates its targets, making them feel like the chosen few who are lucky enough to receive such attention. This exclusivity creates a sense of loyalty and makes it harder to see the harm being done. The person behind the charm may gaslight you, turning situations around to make you feel like you're at fault for doubting them. They thrive on creating confusion and dependency, ensuring that their charisma is your only anchor in a sea of self-doubt. The lesson here is not to distrust everyone who is charming or charismatic, but to approach such individuals with clarity and wisdom. Charm should never be a replacement for genuine integrity, and charisma alone is not proof of goodness. True character is revealed through consistency, through actions that align with words, and through behavior that uplifts rather than manipulates. When we learn to see past the surface, we protect ourselves from those who use charm as a cloak for their darker intentions. Self-awareness is a powerful foundation for self-protection, yet it is often underestimated in its importance. At its core, self-awareness is about understanding who you truly are, your strengths, weaknesses, desires, fears, and boundaries. It is the ability to look inward with honesty and clarity, recognizing what you need to thrive and what threatens your peace. Without this grounding, it becomes all too easy to fall into situations, relationships, or patterns that harm you because you are disconnected from your own truth. When you are self-aware, you are better equipped to recognize when something doesn't feel right. You trust your intuition, that inner voice that nudges you when a boundary is being crossed, or when someone's intentions don't align with their actions. This awareness serves as an internal compass, guiding you toward choices that protect your well-being and steering you away from situations that could cause harm. It helps you notice the subtle shifts in your emotions, the discomfort that arises when you're being manipulated, or the unease that signals a lack of alignment with your values. Self-awareness also empowers you to understand your own patterns. Often we unknowingly repeat behaviors or attract certain types of people because we haven't taken the time to examine our past experiences and learn from them. Without this reflection, we may find ourselves drawn to relationships or environments that mirror unresolved wounds, perpetuating cycles of hurt and disappointment. But when you are self-aware, you can recognize these patterns and take intentional steps to break free from them. You can identify the triggers that lead you to compromise your boundaries or ignore your intuition, and with that knowledge, you can create strategies to protect yourself more effectively. Another crucial aspect of self-awareness is understanding your boundaries, what you are willing to accept, and where you draw the line. When you are clear about your limits, you are less likely to tolerate behaviors that diminish your self-worth or compromise your emotional safety. You recognize that saying no is not an act of selfishness, but an act of self-respect. This clarity helps you communicate your needs with confidence and stand firm when those needs are challenged. It also allows you to discern when someone is attempting to manipulate or exploit you, as you are grounded in your own sense of what is acceptable and what is not. Self-awareness also involves acknowledging your vulnerabilities. This doesn't mean viewing yourself as weak or broken. Rather, it means understanding the areas where you are most susceptible to harm or influence. For example, if you crave validation, you might be more likely to overlook red flags in someone who showers you with attention. If you fear being alone, you might stay in unhealthy relationships out of a sense of dependency. By recognizing these vulnerabilities, you can take proactive steps to address them, such as building self-confidence, seeking support, or developing healthier coping mechanisms. Moreover, self-awareness fosters emotional regulation, which is essential for protection. When you are aware of your emotions, you can respond to situations thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. This helps you avoid being drawn into conflicts or manipulative dynamics that thrive on emotional chaos. Instead, you can approach challenges with a sense of calm and clarity, making decisions that prioritize your well-being. It's also important to note that self-awareness is not a one-time achievement, it is a lifelong practice. As you grow and evolve, so too will your understanding of yourself. This continuous journey of self-discovery allows you to adapt to new challenges and protect yourself in an ever-changing world. It keeps you attuned to your needs, helping you to recalibrate when life's circumstances shift. Self-awareness is the key to empowerment. It allows you to take ownership of your life rather than being swept along by external forces or the influence of others. When you know who you are, what you stand for, and what you need, you become your own greatest advocate. You recognize that protecting yourself is not about building walls, but about creating a strong foundation of self-respect, self-love, and self-knowledge. From this place of inner strength, you can navigate life with confidence, clarity, and peace, knowing that you have the tools to protect yourself in any situation. Empowerment is not a sudden burst of confidence or an external validation. It is a state of being that emerges when you develop the discernment to understand what aligns with your values and the boundaries to protect what is important to you. Discernment is the ability to see beyond the surface, to recognize the true intentions of others, and to evaluate situations with clarity and wisdom. It is the skill that allows you to separate what serves you from what drains you, what uplifts you from what undermines you. Without discernment, it's easy to become entangled in relationships, commitments, or environments that sap your energy and rob you of your sense of self. Discernment requires a deep connection to your intuition, that inner voice that often senses what logic may not immediately reveal. It helps you identify the people, opportunities, and choices that bring you closer to your goals and your sense of fulfillment. When you are discerning, you notice the subtle cues that reveal someone's true character, the tone behind their words, the consistency of their actions, and the energy they bring into your life. This awareness helps you make decisions rooted in self-respect and foresight rather than impulse or external pressure. However, discernment alone is not enough to create empowerment. It must be paired with boundaries, the firm yet flexible lines that define what you are willing to accept and what you are not. Boundaries are an expression of self-worth. They communicate to the world that you value your time, energy, and emotional well-being, and that you are unwilling to compromise them for the sake of pleasing others or avoiding conflict. Boundaries are not walls meant to shut others out. They are frameworks that ensure mutual respect and healthy interactions. Setting boundaries begins with knowing your limits. What drains you? What energizes you? What behaviors, words, or situations make you feel undervalued or unsafe? By identifying these factors, you can articulate your boundaries clearly and confidently. But boundaries are not just about expressing your needs, they are about enforcing them. It's not enough to say what you will not tolerate, you must also take action when those boundaries are crossed. This is where empowerment grows, as you realize that you have the authority and the responsibility to protect your peace. Boundaries are also dynamic. As you grow and change, so too will your limits and expectations. What you once tolerated may no longer be acceptable, and that's okay. Discernment allows you to recognize when it's time to reevaluate your boundaries and adapt them to new circumstances. This ongoing process of reflection and adjustment ensures that your boundaries remain aligned with your evolving needs and priorities. When discernment and boundaries work together, they create a powerful sense of autonomy. You are no longer at the mercy of external forces, swayed by the opinions or demands of others. Instead, you become the architect of your own life, choosing relationships, opportunities, and experiences that align with your values and bring you closer to your goals. This balance fosters a sense of inner strength and confidence as you learn to trust your ability to make decisions that honor your worth. Discernment also teaches you to recognize the boundaries of others, fostering mutual respect and understanding in your relationships. It helps you navigate conflicts with grace, knowing when to stand your ground and when to compromise. Boundaries, in turn, ensure that your discernment is actionable, providing the structure needed to protect your emotional and mental space. Together, they create a harmonious cycle, each reinforcing the other in a way that strengthens your sense of self and your ability to navigate the world. You are not responsible for fixing someone else's darkness, no matter how deeply you care for them or how much you want to see them free from their struggles. It is natural to feel compassion for others, to want to be a source of light in their lives, and to offer support when they are overwhelmed by their challenges. But there is a fine line between offering help and taking on the burden of fixing what is ultimately not yours to fix. When someone is struggling with their own darkness, whether it is rooted in pain, anger, unresolved trauma, or harmful patterns, it is their journey to navigate and their responsibility to address. Taking responsibility for someone else's darkness can be an emotionally exhausting and ultimately futile effort. Darkness is not something you can remove for someone. It is something they must confront and work through themselves. You can offer a listening ear, guidance, and encouragement, but the work of healing, growth, and transformation is theirs alone. When you try to take on their pain as if it were your own, you risk losing yourself in their struggles. You may find yourself drained, frustrated, or even resentful, all while the other person remains unchanged, because the impetus for transformation must come from within. It's important to recognize the difference between supporting someone and enabling them. Support means being there for them in healthy and constructive ways, encouraging them to seek professional help, offering emotional reassurance, and reminding them of their strength and potential. Enabling, on the other hand, occurs when you take on their responsibilities, shield them from the consequences of their actions, or allow their darkness to overshadow your well-being. When you step into the role of fixer, you unintentionally send the message that they are not capable of handling their own challenges, which can hinder their growth and prolong their struggle. This dynamic often arises in relationships where love and empathy are abundant. You may feel that if you don't step in to help, you are being unkind or uncaring. But real love doesn't mean absorbing someone's darkness. It means standing by them with compassion while respecting their autonomy. It means trusting that they are capable of doing the hard work required to heal themselves. It also means understanding that your energy, time, and emotional resources are finite, and you must protect them if you are to remain whole. When you assume the responsibility of fixing someone else's darkness, you may inadvertently neglect your own needs and boundaries. You might find yourself sacrificing your peace, happiness, or even your sense of self to accommodate their struggles. Over time, this can lead to feelings of burnout, resentment, or a loss of identity as your focus shifts entirely to their well-being at the expense of your own. This is not sustainable, nor is it fair to you or the other person. They deserve the opportunity to face their challenges head-on and grow from the experience, and you deserve the space to prioritize your own mental and emotional health. Sometimes people struggling with their own darkness may resist change, cling to their pain, or even project their struggles onto others. They may expect you to take responsibility for their happiness or blame you when things don't improve. In such cases, it is essential to recognize that their reaction is not a reflection of your worth or effort. You can only do so much, the rest is up to them. It's not your role to make them whole, to fill the voids within them, or to provide solutions to problems they may not even be ready to acknowledge. Learning to let go of the need to fix someone else's darkness is an act of love, not only for yourself, but also for the other person. It allows you to release the weight of their struggles and trust that they have the capacity to find their own way forward. It frees you to focus on your own growth and well-being while still offering support in a way that is healthy and balanced. It reminds you that everyone has their own path to walk, their own lessons to learn, and their own strength to discover. In the end, true empowerment comes from understanding where your responsibilities end and where others begin. It's about embracing self-awareness, trusting your discernment, and establishing firm boundaries that protect your peace and energy. While compassion calls us to support those we care about, we must remember that the journey to overcome personal darkness is one each individual must walk on their own. You are not the savior of someone else's struggles, nor are you the solution to their inner battles. Instead, your role is to stand strong in your own light, offering support without sacrificing yourself, and encouraging others to find their strength within. By doing so, you honor both your path and theirs, fostering growth, healing, and respect for the autonomy we all deserve.